According to AARP, 99% of baby boomers list travel as one of the things they want to do in retirement.
Yeah, including us.
Well, we're 100%.
We are. Right now we
Right
are.
now.
But this past year, the travel industry's made a huge resurgence after being shut down with government restrictions for almost 2 years.
You know, many countries have actually dropped those restrictions, which is really helpful to me since I'm the planner.
Oh, good. Okay.
If travel is something that you get joy from, now is the time to do it. Don't put it off any longer and cheat yourself of this joy and experience. You know, we haven't traveled much in the past 3 or 4 years. I might even go to 4 years on that.
Feels like it.
We've already planned 3 trips in the next 24 months.
Which we're excited about.
We are.
And there's actually a 4th trip you don't know about yet. So during COVID, we reprioritized our travel. We continued to go visit our kids because we have 6 of them and they're all over the country. So that was really important. But we didn't take our annual vacation.
Right.
We were always good with that during our careers, but in retirement, we've kind of fluffed a little bit, and then COVID just shut us down. And we also skipped our big family reunion vacation, which we really need to do next year.
We do. We definitely do.
Well, but it's all changing now. We're excited to start making some plans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that the landscape has changed, and you know, there's new ways to travel and new experiences for us to have. You know, here are some of the trends we've found as a result of many surveys and interviews with travel agents. In particular, there was a great survey by Booking.com that interviewed 24,000 travelers. And stay to the end where we're going to send you some of our travel hacks.
Yeah, you'll like these travel hacks, so definitely stay to the end. But the first thing in the survey said, there is a tendency and a trend for 2023 to do off-the-grid travel. It's actually one of the top travel trends. 60% of travelers surveyed said that they have this type of vacation as a priority.
That's interesting.
I think it makes sense.
What does that actually mean, off the grid travel?
Well, first of all, you're going to have to disconnect from your devices.
Yes.
So there's no internet, there's no phone, there's no Instagram.
Right.
That's one part of it. But the other part could be just getting back to nature.
Like camping.
Right? Yeah, you don't want to camp. We're not going camping.
I wouldn't mind like a Yosemite kind of.
But it's different than going to
if Kevin Costner was there and we were in Yosemite, I would do that.
So it's not going to South Beach, Miami
No.
and staying in a shishi hotel and
Right.
hanging out. It's getting back to nature. Like we did our Alaska cruise in 2017
Right.
with all of our kids.
That's right. When
And
you turn 60.
I don't think we're going to do a cruise again in the near future. But we loved the parts when we were off the grid, when we did the day trips and hiking and the kayaking and all of that.
That's
and,
right.
There is camping, but I think for us, we probably would do glamping.
What is glamping?
Well, that's high-end camping.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'd give that a try. Is
Yeah.
Kevin Costner there?
Yes,
Okay.
Kevin will be there.
Okay, then I'll do glamping.
But,
for sure.
there's guided eco tours, fly fishing. You did that mule walk down the Grand
I
Canyon
did.
with Kathleen.
That was
That's
wonderful.
off the grid, right?
Yeah, that was definitely off the grid.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get a hold of you for 3 days. I'm not even sure if you were there.
It's actually really close to Vegas if you think about it.
Right. But I think that off-the-grid trips are important.
So next trend that came out of all these surveys is cultural experiences. Nearly 75% of U.S. travelers want to be pushed outside their comfort zone. For us, we went to Nicaragua for many years and the Dominican Republic for a few years.
Those trips were amazing.
And that pushed us outside of our comfort zone in the way we were living and what we were eating and, some of the cultural challenges, some of the food challenges. Spending a few weeks with local families in local communities, learning language and customs, I mean, that's pretty enriching.
Yeah, and you're off the beaten path. You're not, again, mainstream like Rome. If you could, go to Italy and spend, some time with a family out in the country, that's really kind of a cool way to do it.
That would be
And
cool.
it's not necessarily a 4-star hotel in a main city.
Right.
It could be, in the outback, so to speak.
Yeah, so cultural is a big trend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another trend, 90% of the people surveyed want this kind of travel, and they call it nostalgic travel. So this is really big. This is going back to Disney. Like if you and I remember going to Disney as a kid and we wanted to go back, which we don't.
Not for me.
But if we did...
I'd rather camp than go to Disney,
that's an example
to be
of
honest.
a nostalgia. To go back without the kids or go with, another couple. But family reunions are great.
That would be fun.
And we actually talked about this summer because we had a couple of times when we had maybe a third of our family together.
Right.
And now that we have kids who are married, the extended family, those families, it really would be cool to find something where 50 people show up.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
Speaking of nostalgic travel, I have my 40th high school reunion, I think, coming up. 35th or 40th?
Well, that's the one you want to go alone to see all your old boyfriends.
No, I didn't say that. But it would be nostalgic, right? Kind of
Sure.
visiting where you grew up and, kind of going back to your roots and seeing how things have changed. I like the nostalgic travel.
Yeah. Well,
I do. I
speaking of-
don't love the Disney travel, but
No.
that's me personally.
Well, speaking of going back to your roots, it's not really for us, but if you're Irish and of Irish descent, you might want to go to Ireland
Right.
or Italy, whatever it might be, to go back to the village where your grandparents were.
Which would be cool. I would like
Yeah.
to do that with Pop, actually. Take him to Italy and have him
Yeah.
show me around.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be kind of cool.
Or maybe you always wanted to drive cross country.
You do.
Motorhome.
That would be you.
Yeah.
That's
Not gonna
I
happen
don't
for
think.
us.
Well, here's the thing. Mark only drives 2 hours at a time. So us to drive across cross country means Jody's driving 10 hours at a time.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
That doesn't sound like vacation.
What's
to me.
the next trend for 2023 in travel?
So the fourth trend that we found in these surveys really hits home with me, and it's a wellness retreat, right? Like there is such explosive growth and things to be done and places to visit where people want to be healthier, especially retirees.
Yeah, because people don't necessarily want to sit on a beach all day long and have someone bring them pina coladas.
Right.
I think you'd like to do that for a couple days.
Yeah, but I
And
would
maybe that's the secret trip.
maybe.
But that's really not the trend. That was sort of old school, I guess.
But honestly, listen to these facts. Nearly half of the people surveyed want trips that include meditation, mindfulness, exercise, yoga. Rather than coming back feeling exhausted, they actually want to come back feeling revived and refreshed. And I think that's an amazing trend for travel.
We've never done a trip like this.
No, I have.
Where?
I've done yoga retreats
Oh, yoga,
in
yeah.
Costa Rica
Yeah,
where there's
that's true.
hiking and...
But I mean, as a couple.
No, we have never done that
We
as a
should do
couple.
that. We should do that.
I would like that.
Well, the other trend is bucket list trips. We all probably have a bucket list, someplace you really, really want to go. We've actually scheduled our first safari in August of 2024.
To Rwanda.
And we booked it this past August. We did it 2 years in advance.
Right.
And it's a gorilla trek, so it's going to be and also the Big Five.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be a really great bucket list trip for us. We're 10 days in the outback. So
Hiking.
It includes that. There's no Wi-Fi. We need to have a 25-pound pack, and that's it
For 10 days.
for 10 days.
That scares me, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah. But our last bucket list trip was in 2018. We went to Bora Bora.
Yeah.
And we
That
haven't
was
been on one
wonderful.
of those yet. And this is, these are the kind of trips when you typically spend more, you're going to splurge. You're going to probably spend more than you want. But now's the time to do it.
Yeah,
Because we're not getting
definitely.
any younger and more active. And it really makes sense to do it now.
And we've added another trip recently to our bucket list trip and actually scheduled it. I don't know if you
This
remember
past
that.
Saturday.
Yeah. So Greece has always been a bucket list trip for both of us. And we have a very good friend who's from Greece, and she and her husband are going back in September. And we jumped on board.
And they're about 7 years younger than us, so they're still in that stage of having super lots
They're
of
7
fun.
years younger than me, about 15 years younger than you.
All right. But the thing about this trip is it's different. Because she has roots there and her
Yes.
mom's going to be there, she has all kinds of extended family. So we're going to be staying with family. We're going to be eating in a lot with home cooking.
Which is
So
wonderful.
it's going to be a low-cost trip, but a great cultural
Yeah,
experience
I'm excited
us.
for that one.
And it was on our bucket
It
list.
was,
So
definitely.
let's talk about travel hacks.
Okay.
So in this survey, they asked about that too. And 2/3 of travelers who were surveyed out of that 23,000, they're really looking for deals, timing to get the best bang for the buck. They've really become more budget savvy, and it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense, especially if you have the time to do the research and get all of that done. With us running this business and our 6 kids, we're both big fans of a travel agent. We still have a travel agent. We love our travel agent. Honestly, can't think of anyone who knows us better, who puts us in the right places at the right time, because she does all the research. And in the end, maybe it costs us a bit more. I'm sure it does, but we go places without getting any surprises and feel very taken care of.
All right. So the first hack is travel slowly. So when you're going to travel, instead of going to Italy and going through 6 different cities, maybe go to 3 and stay longer.
Right.
See as much as you can. Don't rush through the whole thing, and don't jam in too much. We have a client who wants to visit 10 countries in the next 10 years. They've really got to pick 2 to 3 max cities in each country, or one city, to really enjoy what they see. So that's hack number 1.
And hack number 2 is spread your travel out. Instead of a year-long traveling, take several shorter trips to different regions and space them out over time. Gives you a little bit more downtime, a little bit of time to relax and reflect and plan your next trip. It also lets you choose destinations based on their affordability and your current interests.
Right. The next hack, which is going to reduce your cost and reduce the crowds, is travel during the off-season or shoulder season, which is in the spring and the fall. There are going to be less people. The restaurants won't be as crowded. Your prices will be down. And in some places, you might be the only tourist there, so you get the whole place to yourself. And even if you've never thought of going to a seaside town in the winter, and we've done this.
We have done this.
It's actually a nice vacation.
Yeah.
You're on the beach, it's wintertime. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good hack to lower your costs and also not be surrounded by thousands of people.
And another hack in terms of reducing your cost is sometimes if you stay longer, your cost of your accommodations go down. So that can give you more time to get to know your destination by staying longer in your accommodations.
Right. We talked about a travel agent. It's really important to us. But in the survey, they put together a list of the top benefits of using a travel agent. So they're experts, especially if you're looking for cruises or group tours. They're really good at that. They have amazing relationships with travel companies to get you discounts. And like you said earlier, they're going to do all the work for you so you don't have to worry about it. And it just makes travel easier. And in our retirement, we want easy's okay.
Well, the other thing it does for me is, I know when Jamie, our travel agent, suggests something, you're a little bit more open to it. So, for example, when we were in Florence, Jamie suggested a walking tour, and Mark was like anti-walking tour every time I brought it up. But Jamie recommended it with an expert that took us through Florence and showed us parts of Florence and history that we never would have come across.
Yeah, and who's going to Italy now? We just told
Christopher.
him to do that. Our son Christopher's going with his partner Fabio, and we said we have to give them the name of that.
I know, that travel.
But those are the hacks.
That is a benefit of using a travel agent because sometimes they can be your voice and plant the seed with your partner or spouse to do things outside their comfort zones.
Right.
Yeah. So now it seems to be as good a time as ever to jump back into travel. 99% of baby boomers have this as a retirement priority, so you might have this on your list as well.
So you want to take a break before retirement? Why a gap year might be good for you. Watch this next video where we discuss the benefits of actually taking a gap year of travel. You can assess your life and focus on yourself and your relationship before entering your official retirement so the transition has more clarity.